and welcome to another video of Kitchen Exploration. Today we're going to be making stuffed meatloaf. Meatloaf, I make it stuffed because I got bored of the traditional ground beef meatloaf. So I like to experiment, explore. So today we're going to make it stuffed. We're going to put a lot of goodies inside. So let's go to the kitchen and let's make some. Alright, for this recipe we're going to need 3.5 pounds of ground beef. For flavor, we're going to need 1 tablespoon of granulated onions, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. We can use granulated garlic also, it doesn't matter. Half a tablespoon of oregano, half a tablespoon of thyme, half a tablespoon of paprika, half a tablespoon of salt, and half a tablespoon of adobo. Adobo, it looks like this. Normally you find it in the Spanish section in the supermarket. We're also going to need, give or take, about a cup of baby spinach, a small onion, and we want to cut it like in half, like this, and then in slices. We're going to need 3/4 cup of ketchup and half a cup of Worcester sauce. We're going to need about 3 slices of white bread, 2/3 of a cup of milk, give or take, that you can adjust according to your preference. We're going to need about 9 eggs. We want to use about 5 eggs boiled and 4 eggs raw. And then we're going to need a package of bacon. Oh, also we're going to need some oil. So don't worry, at the bottom you see in the descriptions, you're going to see the recipe. I'm going to write the recipe there. So if you miss anything, you can check it out there. Then you need a baking dish. This one is about 9 by 13, but something close to that, depending the size of the meatloaf you want to make. Alright, so let's go to the stove and let me show you what I'm going to start doing. Alright, so we're in the stove in a hot skillet. You're going to put the oil, 1 tablespoon of oil for this purpose here, and then we're going to use the small onion that we had cut before, and we're going to let everything go loose. Now we're going to put it there in the skillet. And what we're going to do, we're going to crystallize the onion a little bit, like caramelize. Then to that you can put a little bit of salt, little bit of pepper. That's about it. You don't want to go crazy with the salt and pepper. So let's finish this, and then I'll be back when they're already done so you can see the way they look. So when you're preparing this, you see it's getting softer now. To this, if you want, you can press some garlic and put some garlic. You make it more flavorful. But you have to be careful that when you put the garlic, it's at the end when the onion is soft already and crystallized. If you notice here, some of them are still a little bit hard. So you don't want to put it yet because garlic burn faster than the onion, so you don't want like crispy garlic. So, you know, let me show you how far I will go before I put the garlic. Okay, so more or less here it's ready. If you see the onion, it's like crystallized. So that's pretty much how far we want to go. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to press 2 garlic cloves, I like to do it like that. You know, it's the way I prefer. So I move it a little bit more, not much, because I don't want my garlic to burn. I just want it to get warm and release the flavor. So that's about it. So that's ready. Let me take it out. Okay, so here we have the onions. That's ready like that. They're nice and soft. And then in the same skillet, we're going to take another tablespoon of oil. The skillet is already nice and warm. Move the oil around. And then there we're going to add the baby spinach. And we're going to follow the same process that we did with the onion. We're going to put a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and we keep moving it until they get soft. And this process is faster. The spinach, they will get soft faster. You see, that's pretty much about how much you want it. So let's get all this ready, and I meet you at the table when I'm going to start putting everything together. So now what I want to do, I want to take my bread, the 3 slices of bread, and to that I'm going to add the milk. And we want to let that bread get soft with the milk. And when I said at the beginning, give or take, it's because you can add more if you like it. If you like the bread moist, the bread, what it's going to do is going to help the meat to get hold moisture, so it won't be too dry. So I'm going to leave it just like this, because to this I'm going to add the Worcester sauce, and that's going to help to get in the meat and give it flavor too. So now this I'm going to add to the meat. And then we're going to add the eggs. We're going to, before we add them, we're going to whisk it a little bit. And then we're going to add also. And finally, but not least, we want to add all the spices. So here's the salt, here's the paprika, the garlic, the onion, and to that we're going to add also the ketchup. And that's going to help it to get nice and moist. So we're going to start mixing that. So let me mix that and I show you. All right, so we're mixing all the ingredients in the meat, and we want to make like this kind of motion to squeeze everything together. And when the meat get like it sticks in your hand, that's about ready. So now let me clean my hands and bring the mold so we can put everything together. Alright, so over here we have our baking dish. And to the baking dish I'm going to add a piece of like saran wrap plastic. You're going to see the purpose why I use that. On top of that, you're going to put the meat, not all, like maybe half of it, or a little bit more than half. And you want to make like a bed of meat, just like this, of the ground beef. There's 2 ingredients that I forgot to mention before. We're going to use prosciutto, and we're going to use muenster cheese. And this I cut about 3/8 by 3/8 strips. So on top of the meat, we're going to add the prosciutto and put like a blanket like this, and that will release a lot of flavor. Very nice. And on top of that, we're going to add the eggs. And the cheese. We are going to add it. You always cut a little bit extra, because that way, as you're putting the whole thing together, you can have a little piece. Then next to that, you're going to use the onions that I showed you earlier, and you're going to put that next to the eggs and make it part of the filling. You spread that. And the spinach, the baby spinach. When this is ready, this is a meal by itself. You don't need to add anything else. You have everything in there. So there you have it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit more of the meat on top like this. Little bit like that. So there you go, something like that. Now the idea of the plastic, you're going to leave the plastic and you're going to roll it up like that, and it's going to help to make the loaf of meat. Do the other side, and it helps you to form it very nice. When you have pieces like this, you add a little bit more and you cover that. Whatever meat is left, you can use to make beef patties, hamburgers. And they're very good. The flavor of that hamburger will be awesome. So earlier I put the oven, I turned on the oven to 350. And this, depending on your oven, is the time it's going to take. This will take maybe about an hour, hour and a half. So there you go, this is ready to go into the oven. So let me put this in the oven and I will show you the end product. Oh, before that, I forgot, we have to put the bacon. So let me open the bacon, let me put it on, and I show you how it looks. So there you have it. It's nice and braided like a basket kind of thing. Now we're going to put it in the oven for an hour and a half, but before that, let me put some aluminum foil on it. And we cover it. And we put it in the oven, maybe like an hour, cover it. Then the last half an hour, you can take the aluminum foil out. That way you can brown, the bacon will brown a little bit. All right, so I'll be right back. So there you have it. It was in the oven for an hour, covered with the aluminum foil. After an hour, I took the aluminum foil off. Another half an hour, so I cooked the bacon on top. And then after the hour and a half, I put it in broil for about 1 or 2 minutes to crisp a little bit the bacon on top. So now I'm going to let it cool down. Take out the fat that rendered the meat and the bacon, and it's ready to eat. So I hope you like the recipe. So please like us and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, buen provecho.